write books. And the reason that I got interested in writing books is because I had a little boy a long time ago, 23 years ago, who was born as a failure to thrive baby. And I had a daughter, Hannah, who is the illustrator of these books, and she's an art educator here in Midcoast, Maine. She's not able to be here today, but her little brother was getting ready to be born in the world, and we were very excited about having him and excited to have him join our family. And the universe and the divine had different plans for him, and he had a different entry into the world, and he almost didn't make it. And so we had to be careful with him, and he had a long recovery coming back into the world of feeding and learning how to crawl and walk and all kinds of neurodevelopmental things. And so he was not an easy child to teach. He's 23 years old now and a big strapping boy, but he certainly wasn't an easy child in school, and school was not easy for him. He didn't like it. And he was a lid flipper. And what I mean by that, and I think you heard Fern say that he was my best life teacher as a lid flipper, he used to flip his lid and lose his cool. So what I want to teach all the kids out there right now is a hand-brain model. So if you are, and adults, you can do this too. If you've ever heard of Dr. Dan Siegel, he's a clinical neuropsychologist, and he taught this thing called the hand-brain model. So if you put your hand up like this and tuck your thumb underneath your fingers and roll your fingers down, this represents our brain, and this is your brain stem and your spinal cord. But basically this part of your brain right here is your thinking brain, and it's right here, right behind your forehead. And when you feel calm and cool, you feel safe and connected and loved and okay. And this part of your brain, your thinking brain, can easily listen and learn. You can do math and science and reading and writing, and you can problem solve, and you can tell your mom or dad or your teacher or a grandma or grandpa or whoever you're with, your best friend, or even a person you're having a problem with, what's going on more easily. But if you're a little upset or a lot, or you're a little shy or a little frustrated or a little embarrassed or a little angry or a lot, you start to flip your lid. And this part right here, this is called your protecting brain or your amygdala. It's a really big word. Amygdala is how I remember it. Your amygdala, amygdala, prefrontal cortex, thinking brain, this part, or your amygdala, amygdala, protecting brain. That part right here, it's about the size of an almond. It says, what's going on? What's happening? You're upset. You're flipping your lid and losing your cool. And there are only 4 things that I can do. Are you ready? I can fight with my words or my body. I can run away, which is called flight. I can freeze, or I can forget about it. That's what I can do when my protecting brain is in charge. I can fight, I can flight, I can freeze, I can forget about it. I can't think, I can't remember, I can't process, I can't tell you what's wrong. I lose all the ability to be a calm, cool kid. So if I'm flipping my lid and losing my cool because my emotions are getting out of control, I'm not going to be able to be okay right that moment. And that's why if I get in a fight at recess, or if I fall and hurt my leg, if I'm riding my bike, or if I'm afraid, or if my mom and dad are fighting, or if a dog scares me, or something is upsetting me in my world, that's what's happening to me. And I was teaching that in schools, and I was teaching kids about flipping their lid and losing their cool because my son flipped his lid and lost his cool a lot. And so my first book was called Some Days I Flip My Lid, Learning to Be a Calm, Cool Kid. And that's how Nicole Crooks and I met. We met in Orlando because we were going to a conference together. We were learning about restorative practices and helping kids repair harm when you got into conflict. And I had just released that book, and it was picked up by a publishing company, a mental health behavioral publishing company. And I shared that with her. I said, hey, she's like, what do you do in the world? And I told her, and I just started telling her, I wrote this book. And then that book went crazy across the country because lots of parents and lots of teachers and lots of people said, hey, I have lid flippers at home too. Because here's the deal. We all flip our lid. We all lose our cool. Adults and kids and teenagers and grandparents, young and old. Everybody has a nervous system. And again, when you feel safe, you're calm and cool. And when you don't, your amygdala says something's not right. And my neurochemistry or the hormones in my body will shift and I won't be calm and cool anymore. So before we get going, we want to do something called a self-awareness activity. Social emotional learning is about how to gain some skills so that we can learn to be connected human beings in the world. To be right here, right now on purpose means I'm present like you are. But Nicole and Fern and Joyce and I and all of us, we can't just assume just because we showed up that we're ready to learn. Because I don't know how your day has been. And Nicole doesn't know how your day has been. And I don't know what kinds of things you've had to deal with during your day. So what we'd like to do is start with an activity. What we'd like to do is say, let's take a self-check or a self-assessment. Some of you maybe have these work pages. I don't know, this comes from my book. We put together some work pages, and if you don't have them, we'll make sure that we get them out to you. But you have some pages that are called self-awareness pages. There you go. We're going to find our feelings. Who you see here, Maisie. Maisie is one of our calm, cool kids characters. And Hannah, my daughter, drew this calm, cool kid character, Maisie. And she is one of the cast of many beautiful, diverse characters in our calm, cool kids cast. And she is who you're going to see throughout this book. And she has a whole bunch of emotions that she goes through. And she teaches us how to be calm and cool by breathing on purpose. But first, before we do that, it's really important for us to ask ourselves throughout our day, multiple times a day, how am I feeling? And where does that feeling live inside our body? So that's the question that we're going to ask ourselves right this minute. Ask yourself, just sitting maybe with your feet on the floor, feeling yourself anchored in this space.
What you're feeling. Hold on, I'm gonna keep going.
And ask yourself that question. How am I feeling right this moment? And if you've never done this activity before, it might feel funky, might feel weird. Just give yourself the invitation to experience it and say, this feels weird. And if that's how you feel, that's okay. And where does that feeling feel inside your body? If you have this sheet, you can circle one of these Maisie feelings if that's how you feel. I can't scroll up. If you want to, you could draw in there, or you could draw your own feeling there if you'd like to. You can draw the body part. The reason that we talk about the body part is that emotions aren't just something we feel in our heart or in our head. Usually this goes with, right, your entire limbic system and your whole body. Remember, if you're really upset, you might shut down. Your body could get limp. This is why sometimes when we want kids to talk to us and they become wet noodles and they just lay on the floor or they hide under a desk. Does that ever happen, adults? You want somebody to, tell you what they're doing and they want to hide from you. And then you try to get them to come out and they resist. And then you notice that their whole body gets tense. Or they feel like they need to run. They feel it throughout their whole body. So let's just take this a few seconds. Just notice that. I'm not sure what's happening in real time, Nicole, so you'll have to give me, if folks need a little bit more time, if they're drawing that feeling.
All right. Let's see. How is everybody there? Has everyone drawn?
In Zoom, Leanne, are we good? If folks can put in the chat, maybe if they're ready to go. If people want to put in the chat, if you'd like to share how you're feeling, or if you don't have to, that's definitely not something you need to do. It can be just personal and for you.
You guys good over here? You know how you feel? Okay. We're
Okay.
good. I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay. So that's called self-awareness. That's our first part of SEL, or social emotional learning, awareness. And why it's really important is if we can be aware of how we're feeling, then we can develop really healthy self-management skills or coping skills, right? Because we ask sometimes children to take care of something before they really even understand. So to regulate themselves before they understand even what's going on with themselves. So as adults, if we can help invest some time in teaching children about their emotions, and not just why are you doing that, or why are you feeling that, but modeling for them, it looks like you're feeling sad. I know what it feels like to feel sad. And notice that I'm saying the word feeling the emotion instead of saying that you are the emotion. Mind and brain science says we really need to differentiate that, because we are not the emotion. Emotions are fleeting, and they are really contingent upon the environment that we are in any given moment. Because I could feel very upset about something, and within seconds, something wonderful happens, and that feeling can turn right around. Has anybody ever had something really sad happen and then something really good happen in seconds, and in a matter of seconds, you're feeling much better, right? So it's really important for us not to define ourselves as our feelings, because we're so much more than the sum of our emotions. And it's important for children to know that we are not our feelings, that feelings don't define us, just like our mistakes don't define us. Does that make sense? So I want to teach you something else. When Nicole begins to read the book, and she does such a beautiful job, I think you're going to love the way she reads it. And she's going to engage you in the readings. And Miss Maisie, little Miss Maisie, this beautiful character, is going to take you on a little adventure. She's going to stop every now and then, and she's going to ask you, have you ever felt that way too? So I want to teach you something called Mindful Me Too. Are you ready out there? If you're a child, and even if you're an adult, here's what Mindful Me Too looks like. You put all your fingers down like this, and you have your pinky up and your thumb. And you just do this back and forth, just like this. That's really good. Is it Adele? How do you say your name, Miss Johnson? Can you unmute and tell me how you say your name? Adelaide? Adelaide, thank you. Adelaide, can you show folks how to do that again? You did that beautifully. Just like this. Adelaide, perfect. That's just right. So Nicole will be reading the book. And if she says, have you ever felt that way too? Instead of using your voice to tell her or show her, you can show her this way. It's called Mindful Me Too. And then you can look around and you can see how you are the same as other people. If you are in real time, you can see if you're the same as other people in the room. And if you're on Zoom and you have your cameras on while the reading is happening, and she stops and you put your camera on, then we can see if you're Mindful Me Too, if we are the same. And the reason that that's important is because it helps us feel a sense of community and connection and belonging.
You're a good boy.
And that's really important. When we build connection and belonging, I might not think I have anything in common with Candy, but if she and I both have similar feelings, I can see that, and it will make me feel connected to her. I might not think Fernando and I have anything in common. How could we possibly have anything in common? But he might hear a prompt by Miss Nicole, and he Mindful Me Too's, and I see that hey, we have something in common, and it will build a connection between us. So Mindful Me Too. If you want to, it's just an invitation. And the last thing is, we can't assume that everybody's ready to hear it. So this is a mindful practice. It's borrowed from Brain Gym. And we wake up our listening ears. So everybody find your ears at the very tips of your ears. We rub them. Take your fingertips like this, and we're going to just rub them. We're going to rub the very tops of our ears like this. We rub them and rub them and rub them all the way down and roll. And we're going to pull them up and pull them out, just gentle, and pull them down and roll them frontwards and roll them backwards. Very gently tickle inside, wake up your listening ears, and hum pop, 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 pop. Okay, now let's wake up our looking eyes so we can see the pictures really well. Ready? Close your eyes so tight and open them big and wide, no mouth. And close them so tight, big and wide, no mouth. Open your eyes big and wide, no mouth, and close them so tight and big and wide, no mouth. And put one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly and one big connected breath in and out. We are ready to listen and learn, Miss Nicole.
Thank you, Kelly. I'm gonna invite, do you guys want to sit here? So we can, you don't want to sit there? Okay, all right. I'm gonna get the angle right now. All right, that was such an awesome job. Can we give Miss Kelly a hand? Thank you, Kelly. That was such amazing information for the young people and for the grown-ups. All right, and so we're here with our friends. And the book that we're going to read is called Some Days I Breathe on Purpose. And it's learning to be a calm, cool kid. This is amazing. Afterwards, Kelly, we're gonna have to talk about Maisie and how she can move. All right. Some days I breathe on purpose, learning to be a calm, cool kid. Can you see? Not so much.
We can't see the pictures very well. I don't know if you can get closer to the camera or not.
Okay, I'm gonna go this way, y'all. No, it's not gonna.
Better.
It's
That's
better? Okay. All right. Hi, I'm Maisie, and I'm a calm, cool kid. See Maisie? But some nights and days, I flip my lid. Do you remember how the lid flipping went? Flipping my lid means I lose my cool. It can happen at home, in the car, or at school. You see the car? Yes. Now let me ask you something. I can't see everybody all at the same time, but have you ever flipped your lid in the car or at home or at school? Have you? No, no, I'm here for it. I have two friends, Grace and Max. They know lots of ways to be calm and relaxed. Max taught me a new way to learn how to breathe so I won't flip my lid and fight, run, or freeze. You see though? Do you see how they have one hand on their heart and one on their stomach, and they're taking a breath? Grace taught me a new way to ground in one place so I won't flip my lid when I'm red in my face. These new ways are called mindful tools. Oh. Mindful tools, when we do them on purpose, we can be calm and cool. Okay, because I'm here. All right. All right, here's the truth. We all flip our lids, but mindful tools can help grown-ups and kids. You see Maisie over here with her dad? It looks like she's really upset. It looks like it's time for bed. You see? Her dad's saying, last game, then bedtime, Maisie. You see the tears? She's flipping her lid. Maisie's flipping her lid. Would you like these mindful tools so you can choose on purpose to be calm and cool? Keep reading and you will see how easy mindful tools can be. You want to learn some mindful tools? Let's see. Every day I remember to breathe when I'm calm and cool or I'm weak in my knees. Are you ever weak in your knees? Sometimes. Maybe this is silly to you because everyone breathes. It's just what we do. But breathing on purpose is different, you see, because you breathe intentionally. Do you know what intentionally means? No? No? Does anybody online want to say, do you know what intentionally is? No? All right. Intentionally means on purpose. Like we're remembering to do it on purpose, right? Because sometimes we breathe and we forget we're breathing. And then when we flip our lids, we need a reminder. So we just take our hand and put one hand on our heart and the other on our stomach. And we take a deep breath. And exhale. If you are curious to learn a new way to breathe on purpose night or day, keep turning the pages and I'll show you everything you need to do. I breathe on purpose when I start my day. Hand on your heart, the other one on your stomach. Feel it? I breathe on purpose when I look both ways. And so you look both ways and make sure you're with a grown-up when you're crossing the street. All right. I breathe on purpose before I talk. And she's thinking about it, right? Maisie's in class and she wants to answer. And she's like, take a breath, Maisie. She's thinking that in her head. Breathe, take a breath, take a breath. Sometimes we have to remind ourselves, right? And so, do you see how beautiful this art teacher is? Can everybody see the art teacher? Can you see her? Her name's Hannah. She's Miss Hannah, the art teacher. She's so beautiful. She actually drew this book. Hannah actually did the book. I breathe on purpose when I take a walk. I breathe on purpose when I feel worry or fear. Have you ever felt worried or fearful? I breathe on purpose when a snake is near. You see the snake? Maisie's mom is saying, good thing we know how to breathe when we feel afraid. Whew, yes. I breathe on purpose when I'm sad or alone. I breathe on purpose when I want to go home. I breathe on purpose when I try something new. Maisie's doing ballet. Do you dance? You went to ballet?
Me too.
Okay, do you remember the first time? Were you feeling nervous? No, you weren't feeling nervous. Okay, I'm saying, I love it. I breathe on purpose when I'm sick with the flu. Yes, you see her? You see her cheeks are red? She's not feeling good? No, she's not feeling good. Huh?
When she was in the garden, what did she do?
Tell me, what does it look like? She's asking when she was in the garden, what did she do? This is the picture. Who is she with? Who's in the garden with her?
Teddy bear.
A teddy bear. And what else do you see in the garden?
Flowers.
Flowers. Do you see the flowers? Yes. I breathe on purpose when I meet a new friend. And I breathe on purpose when my day ends. Breathing on purpose is simple and neat. It's a way to calm down from my head to my feet, from your head to your feet. All right, can we take a deep breath? One hand on our heart, one on our stomach. Breathe in. Breathe out. When my mind starts to wander with a memory or plan, I put my hand on my heart while I sit or I stand. I breathe a full breath right through my nose. I soften my eyes and I let them stay closed. My heart stops pounding and my mind gets a rest. I go on with my day, just doing my best. You hear all the stuff that Maisie is thinking about? She needs to do math homework. She needs to do dance class. She needs to do an art project. And it's starting to feel like a lot, right? And so,
I used to go to swimming class and learn how to swim. In the swimming pool, it was so deep.
It was deep. And did you breathe when you came out? Because that's what we're going to do. We're going to breathe.
No, I couldn't because
you couldn't because in the water.
Yeah, because it was too deep to swim back up.
Oh my goodness.
It was so deep.
It was deep. Oh my goodness.
So deep.
Oh my goodness. Let's hear about Maisie. Let's see if she goes swimming. We're going to see if Maisie goes swimming, guys. Okay. Would you like to try it too? Before you flip your lid, before you lose your cool, remember, only you get to choose. The choice is yours. There's nothing to lose. So if we're going to flip our lid, we have a choice of flipping our lid or breathing. Like Miss Kelly was talking about, we tune into our feelings and then we decide. Right. So the next time you start flipping your lid, breathe on purpose and be a calm, cool kid. Teach breathing on breathe on purpose and be a calm, cool kid. Teaching breathing on purpose to your family and friends so everyone learns to make lid flipping end. Anyone can be a calm, cool kid. Anyone can stop flipping their lid. Anyone can learn mindful tools to stay calm and cool night and day. They look so peaceful. Can you imagine in the middle of rush hour? Oh my goodness, when you're stopped on the highway, parents? Yes, one hand on your heart, the other on your stomach, and breathe. Now, this part's important. Please listen to me. When we breathe on purpose mindfully, then the world is filled with grown-ups and kids, just doing our best without flipping our lids. Then everyone is safe at home or at school because breathing on purpose keeps us all calm and cool. The end. And the beautiful thing about this book, when you check it out, when you get it, Miss Kelly has equipped it with so much information for parents and caregivers to look through. And so I'm so excited that she's here with us. At the end of it, we'll have a time to talk and ask questions and all of that. For this moment right now, because we've been sitting for a really long time. We've been sitting for a really long time. So let's do a mindful movement moment. You ready? So we can stand up. You feel comfortable. Let's stand up. All right. You might want to shake and shake and shake and get the wiggles out. Shake and shake and shake and get the wiggles out. Yes. Oh, here she come join me over here. Oh my goodness, she's getting it. You want to come over here? Come over here with me. You see it? Come over here. Oh my goodness, you're gonna shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. All right, let's put our hands up in the air. We're gonna reach on your tippy toes and down. And up. and down and up, and hands on your waist. What should we do next? Should we do a little twist? Gonna do a little twist? No? Okay. All right, and we'll reach our hands up to the sky. Bring our fingers to our nose. Bring our hands to the sky. Hands on our legs. All right, you can sit down. Thank you for joining us. Miss Kelly, we're so excited to see you and talk with you now.
Thank you so much, Nicole. You did a beautiful job reading that beautiful book. And I know that you wanted to have a conversation about this main character, Maisie. And I'm happy to entertain any questions from adults and children about the characters, about the content, about the books. All of the books are a continuum of the series, starting with Some Days I Flip My Lid. The sequel to that is called Some Nights I Flip My Lid. And that book is really about grounding with the senses, and really is for parents and guardians and caregivers to really understand the importance for regulation, co-regulation. It takes a calm, cool adult to help children be calm and cool. So that one really talks, just introduces the concept of lid flipping. And then Maisie is the main character of the Mindful. This is going to be the spinoff, and she is the best friend of Grace, who is the main character of the book that Nicole just put up there. Some Nights I Flip My Lid. So, and it was so important for us, for Maisie to be the main character of the book Mindfulness. Some Days I Breathe on Purpose. And I wasn't sure, Nicole and I talk about this a lot. We're partnering a lot, and we wanted this book to be showcased here, especially because, obviously Maisie is a person of color, and I'm a white woman living in a predominantly white state, and I struggled very, very deeply with whether or not she was mine to write. And mine to, and for my daughter, my white daughter, to draw. And I stepped away from it for a time, and because I wasn't sure. And Maisie was not going to have that. She really showed up. I've said this story many times. She showed up in my dream. She knocked on my door and she said, "You are going to be brave and bold and courageous, and you are going to put me on the cover of that. I am going to be the main character, and you are going to step out, and you are going to talk to your to your publisher, and you're going to explain why that it's, why it's important for a person of color to be." And I knew that I had strong convictions. I just didn't know if I could be the catalyst for it, if it would be accepted by society. And I can tell you right now that I'm so glad that I did. And she has been instrumental in bringing voice, and also for everyone to understand that mindfulness is for every child and for every person. And Nicole says it so much better than I do. So I'm going to pass it to you so you can say this next part.
Well, so what I would like to kind of elevate, just really elevate, is that especially at a time like this in history, and Kelly and I have gone back and forth, and we've had these conversations so frequently. But I'm so grateful that you had the courage to go against everything that was inside of you in that moment, because I think a lot of times what happens is that we really are fearful of talking about race. We're fearful about stepping outside of our perceived boxes or the spaces that we think we belong. And the reality is that we belong in all places at all times. And any time for me as a Black woman, for someone to elevate someone who looks like me in the space of mindfulness, it's so important, right? Like, and Kelly, through your work in Maine, at the State Department of Education, working in social emotional well-being, in terms of restorative practices, just in terms of all of the information that you know about the neurobiology of people's brains. And you know that we have to be able to be safe and feel regulated in order for us to learn. And so the fact that you would bring to us this beautiful little girl against all odds, and she is quite spicy from what I understand, because she was waking you up out of dreams.
She's a spicy, calm, cool kid. She absolutely woke me up at 2 a.m. and had me down on my couch writing. And yes, absolutely. And I'm very glad that she was persistent. And Hannah and I, we worked very hard also with my friend and colleague Decca Delac, and Mayor. Maybe some of you know her. She is the very first Black woman, immigrant American mayor in all of history. Her name is Decca Delac, and she is a Somalian woman who is actually, well, she's also a U.S. citizen, but she is just coming back from DC. She's been invited to the White House, and she is my colleague at the Maine Department of Education. But she also happens to be the mayor of South Portland, just elected. And she informed, and a couple of other folks informed representation, because it was very, very important to us. We had Maisie's hair wrong. We had the color of her skin wrong. We didn't know. And it was important for us to make sure that she that the representation of Maisie, was right. And so pulling in, people we trusted and loved, to help us with representation, was important. And I didn't talk to Nicole. I'd only met Nicole one time. We became really fast friends, but I didn't ask her. And when we brought Maisie, when Maisie was born and published, I said to her, you actually noticed something in the book. And I said, I wished I had asked, and it's good. We're actually reprinting it, the newest, because I didn't realize, folks, and maybe people of color know this, but I didn't, and Decca didn't catch it either. But we drew color. And that's okay, I guess, but we said red in the face in my language, red in the face, and we should say hot in the face. And and Nicole noticed that in the language, in my manuscript. That wasn't caught by my publishing team, who also is a predominantly white publishing team in a very white state also. And so, these are the things that we're learning. These are the things, and instead of being upset or defensive about that, we have conversations about it. And I said to Nicole, I really wanted to reach out to you and ask you to help me, vet this and look at the man. And she said, and I said, but I didn't, because I didn't want to take advantage of you being a Black friend. And she said, I'll never forget it. We were on a cruise ship. And she said, but that's for me to decide. Trust that I will let you know if I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. So having these conversations, allowing Nicole to have the agency, for me to ask the question, not be afraid to have conversations. And that's what connection is, right? When we talk about that, when we build sense of connection and community, where we have to do better with our children when we're doing that, when we're teaching those concepts and constructs to kids that people get to decide. And if you're asking out of a place of love and respect and care, I wouldn't be asking her that from her to take advantage of her. It would be coming from a place of love and respect. Yeah. So that was a learning moment for me, for sure, as an author and a person. Are there any questions or comments or thoughts from anyone? You've all been wonderful.
That's your question. We have a question. Oh, is anybody in the chat?
Not
Does
yet.
anybody have a question at the Stirling Road Library? Any of the young people? No? Okay, please come and answer. Come and ask. Do you want
Another,
to come and look at Kelly?
Oh, we
directly?
do have one on
Oh,
Zoom
we have
after.
another one?
Okay,
Okay. And then as soon as he finishes,
Okay.
we'll go. Yes.
go ahead, sir.
okay, well, thank you for this opportunity, especially to you, Mrs. Kelly. You
Oh,
were
thank
very, very, very professional in
thank
this explanation. And to me, this is a good experience. That's why today I'm feeling like hope, a lot of hope, because I started working. I'm 72 years old, and I started working with children in Familia. So therefore, it's a brand new experience, a brand new hope. You were wonderful, and also Miss Jocelyn Crooks, excellent your explanation about the book. It was very, very interesting. So for me, never is too late. So
No.
it's good to learn, and that's why I'm here. So thank you for
Oh.
this opportunity. You've been both very professional. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that feedback so much.
I'm working with En Familia. En Familia, they've been in this type of business for the past 25 years in Homestead, Florida. So
Okay.
we've been working with children from, from the agriculture families that they are coming from overseas, mainly from Mexico. And they are
Yes.
beautiful, beautiful children. In December, I was Santa Claus.
Oh,
Yeah, it was amazing. That's a beautiful experience because I got a feedback from the children, the most honest feedback that I got in my life. So that's why I decided the rest of my life, I don't know, I'm gonna keep on working with children. So thank you one more time for this.
thank you. Thank you so much for attending and for that feedback. We hope that you are blessed in your work with kids. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Candy, we have a young person with Nicole
yes.
that wants to talk,
Perfect.
and then we'll come right over to you, Candy. Yes.
Okay, great.
There's
Hi.
Hi, sweet. Hello. How are you?
I
What's your?
really like that book,
Oh, thank you so much. What's your name?
Gigi.
Gigi? Do you know that in my family they call me Gigi also?
Yeah, but it's
Wait.
actually not a nickname. It's a real life name.
We asked
you
her
know,
what the
can I
whole
tell you-
Gigi name is. Ask her.
You wanna know
It's
what
not
my-
just
my
Gigi.
whole-
Ask her the full one.
What's the full one?
You wanna know my full Gigi name? Okay. All right, I'll tell you. It's Gigi Goddess Flower.
Ooh.
you
Because
know
my
why?
last name is Rosalie.
They call me Gigi Goddess Flower for the dog.
Those are her fur grandbabies. They call her Gigi Goddess Flower. Do you think dogs talk? No? Okay.
Thank you for the compliment,
Thank
Gigi.
you, Gigi.
I hope you'll write your own book. I bet you write, don't you? Keep writing. Keep writing. Keep writing your books.
Thank you, Gigi.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming today. Okay, over to you, Candy.
Oh, just a couple of comments. First, when you're mentioning diversity, I live in a condo. My next door neighbor is from Jamaica, and one upstairs is Pakistan, and there's Koreans and Chinese. And I mean, I love the diversity in my building, let alone my whole neighborhood. And the center, the spiritual center, the reason I'm attending is I'm involved with the children, the youth department at the spiritual center I attend, which is also LGBT, a very
Yes.
diverse community, and mindful thinking is right up our alley. Wanted to mention, have you heard of the Season for Nonviolence?
No.
Okay, so from January 30th, which is when Gandhi was killed, to April 4th, when Martin Luther King was killed, those 64, or depending on leap year, 65 days, they call the Season for Nonviolence. And there's, if you look for it online, there's all the different centers with all these different activities in that. And this year, we have a recording prayer every day. And I involve the children asking them for a quote, like the lesson that day might have been on love or diversity or service. And they would give a quote, and sometimes it'd be this wonderful quote, like, I know my dog loves me, and no matter what. And so I love my family no matter what, just like my dog, something like that. I would love to hear, because you work with a small, we maybe have less than 15 children at the time. I would love to be able to hear, if you're in touch with so many children, to get quotes from them about their feelings, about when they hear of something about violence, or how do they, when they are feeling angry, or learning not to speak words in anger because those words hurt, things on that order. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I do know what you're trying to say, and you've just, planted a seed for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. There's a lot of stuff online, but I think the children have a lot to say, and it would be so nice to have something assembled with comments from children.
That's a great thought. That's a great thought. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly and Nicole, we want to thank both of you for doing this presentation today. Stirling, the Friends of the Stirling Road Library is a group of over 400 who are all about community, whether it be for the children, whether it be for students, whether it be for seniors. We do programs, we offer classes, and we are very thrilled that we are part of 10 Days of Connection. I'm asking those of you who are still on to please complete the survey link, which is in the chat, so we can get your feedback as to today's program. I would like to ask the little ones, unfortunately, I think they're too young to, and maybe they're not, to put in their thoughts about the chat room, about the presentation. But on behalf of all of us, I wanted to ask all of you to continue to look at the calendar for 10 Days of Connection, to attend more events. We're very happy to have you here. And one of the nicest parts of 10 Days of Connection was on our first meeting that I had the opportunity to meet our author, and then for her to introduce us to Nicole. So thank you all for coming today. Stay safe, stay well, stay mindful, and please stay kind to each other. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care.
Be well.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.